My name is Martin Small. I'm a Holocaust survivor. I was born in a small town called Moljaj, Molczadz. The Moljaj is in the Belarus today, used to be Poland before 1939 and 1941 when the Russians took over. It was a small town, a very primitive town. I'm talking going back 90 years. I'm over 90 today. I am the only survivor of 86 people from my home family. I had two sisters, little sisters, my father, my mother, my grandfathers, uncles, aunts. My father was a rabbi, my grandfather was a rabbi, and I had in the family around 6, 7 rabbis. But I also come from 9, 10 generations of rabbis, as told by my family. My grandfather was a farmer, and he also was the mayor of the town by the Russians, before the Poles. I'm going back before the Second World War. I worked with my grandfather on the farm all the time. He'd take me to the farm all the time. He liked me very much. And at the same time, he took me to the synagogue in the morning, every morning for prayers, to school. I graduated Polish, Russian, and Hebrew schools in my hometown. But I also went for almost 14 years in schools in other towns, in bigger towns, which was called yeshiva, Y-E-S-H-V-A. Yeshiva is one of the highest Jewish educational systems. If you want to be a rabbi, you have to go only 5 or 6 years in a school. I went 14. Why did I went for 14? Because my grandfather was the head of the yeshiva, the head of the school, and he wanted me with him. If I would remember today what I forgot, I would know more than I remember, and I still remember a lot. In my hometown, we were half Jews and half Catholics, around 2,500 people together. We had stores, Jewish stores and non-Jewish stores. We lived for the last 300-400 years in peace. Unbelievable. My friends from school used to go to my synagogue on Saturday. I went on Sunday singing the choruses in church, which it was a normal life. In 1941, when the first motorcycles came in, the German motorcycles came into our hometown, the world fell down for us. Immediately the Germans, to tell the Polish and the Ukrainian and the Belarus people, if they don't obey their orders, they will be dead. So they took out many Jewish young boys and girls and shoot them right in the middle of the town. It says, they are nothing. Jews, you can kill a Jew like a fly. A couple of days later, they took out, the Germans left the town because they were on the way to Moscow. This was Operation Barbarossa, the attack on the Soviet Union. And all my friends from school and their relatives became policemen in our hometown. We had police before, Polish people, and the same became German collaborators. 2 weeks after they left the Germans, our people, the police, took out 10, 20, 30 young people from our hometown, Jewish people, and they took him out of town and they killed them and buried them. It's a matter of fact, we heard stories that they made the farmers, non-Jewish farmers, bury the Jews and then kill the farmers and leave them outside. And they came back and they said the Jews killed the farmers. This was going on every week, twice a week. They killed a lot of people. They walked in the streets and they walked in a house. They took out a 10, 15, 12-year-old kid and they took the mother and father. They raped them in the streets and they killed the mother and father in front of them. It's hard to describe what was going on. I don't believe it. But I seen. One Sunday, I don't like to talk about this, but I will tell you. One Sunday, we were locked up in our houses. We lived across the street from the church. Sunday, they came out from the mass, and they started throwing rocks on our houses, breaking windows. The priest was one of the finest people the world has ever seen. He should just rest in peace. He came over to this young man. They were all my friends from school. And he told him something. We found out later that he told him, don't throw rocks on the Jews. These are our friends. Without any hesitation, we watched, these eyes have seen this. They took the priest, they went into the church, brought his wife and 2 children. I don't remember, 2 sons or 2 daughters, I don't remember. And they shoot them in front of the church. That's what they call barbarism. Their own priest is behind any imagination. Then they brought some rabbis. I saw them. I saw them piling up Torahs, Jewish books in the middle of town, make rabbis dancing naked, make men raping other women. They raped the rabbi's wife. They did things unbelievable. And they still took out people out of town, killing them. My best friend, after 3 or 4 weeks later, came to my house. He was one of my best friends even in school. He was jealous on me because I know math better. I was in school better. I was a better soccer player and I was stronger than him. So he came into my house with a gun, a long gun and a shotgun. And he said, Martin, you're not going to fight me now. Because I would fight him even with a gun. I was not afraid. I was a very strong man, a farmer. He says, if you touch me, I will kill your father and mother and your sisters right in front of you. He cut my arms off. He cut off my arms. I couldn't fight no more. He says, come, I'll take you to the police station. He took me to the police station. He undressed me, tied me up on a bench, a wooden bench, upside down, put an iron in the oven. We have ovens with coal, wood. and took out the oven 2 minutes later, 5 minutes later. I felt the heat. He brought it to my face. He said, now I'm going to burn you alive. But I will burn you very slowly. I like to hear you scream. It's hard to describe what went through my mind. I said goodbye to my mother, my father, my sisters, my family. I said goodbye to God. But I prayed to God. I said, oh God, help me. Take me as fast as you can. Don't let me suffer. So I asked God, I said, God, take me as fast as you can. I don't want to suffer. As a great believer in God, I think God heard my cry. Another policeman came in who was worse than him. He used to take babies with knives, cut them in pieces in front of the parents. The sedation was behind any. Yeah, you cannot. I can't explain this. He came in, and he walked over to him. He said something in his ear. I don't know what he told him. He put back the iron in the oven. He ran out, and he untied me. He says, "Go home." I don't remember how I get home. I know one thing I found out myself later, hours later, in my mother's arm, a big boy crying. I want to tell you about somebody I wish I could meet her one more time in my life. A young lady from school. Her name was Tamara, Tamara, Tamara. Her brother became chief of police. And he was married to one of my uncles, my cousin's daughter. They lived so beautifully. You could, I can't explain. They had 2 children. I think 2 girls or 2 boys, I don't know. But when he became chief of police, they told him, Valoja, his name was Valoja Ulasik, Ulasik, Ulasik. You see, Valoja, you can be a chief of police because you have a Jewish wife. He gathered many Jews from houses in the middle of the town, brought his wife and the 2 children, and shoot them one by one. I watched them falling down. And the father and mother from this daughter, from this girl, his wife, had to stay and watch. I don't know what he did with them. I don't know because we went back home. After a few weeks later, his sister Tamara, who was my friend from school, she was the one who taught me how to play guitar. And I used to teach her mathematics in school. We were very good friends. She took her life in her hands every single night to go around maybe 5 or 6 or 7 kilometers around town. Nobody should see her. Come to our house and bring us food. Bring us food enough for our family, and my grandfather too. I don't know, I would love to meet this woman one more time in my life.
Was she a Christian?
Yes, Christian. She was the sister of this policeman. The father was an engineer. He also killed Jews in the streets, the father. But the daughter, she was the only, God should bless her.
I think what I go back to is when you were discussing how the Poles and the Ukrainians and the Belarusians turned on you after they'd been your neighbors. What do you think? Why do you think they did that after having lived with Jews and lived with you and your family in these
Yeah.
villages for so long? Why do you think that happened?
Let me tell you, we lived with them for many, many years in very peaceful things. Anti-Semitism was under the carpet. I remember when I was a little boy, I was fighting the Cossacks. You know what a Cossack is? They were coming on horses. We used to beat them up. But then they came at night and burned the houses and killed some other people. But when the Germans came in, the whole population, Poles, White Russians, they came out with flowers to them. They came out kissing them. We were locked in the homes. We were looking through the narrow things in the windows. They were kissing. They said, "Thank God you came. Now we can kill the Jews and take everything what they got." This is anti-Semitism, hidden anti-Semitism, surfaced in open. I blame a lot of things. I am a religious man. We had good friends, the pastors, in the church, the leaders. They were all our friends, and they were good people. They saved people. Now, can you imagine? Polish people killed my family, and Polish people saved me. There's a balance. I don't blame everybody. I blame only those whose hands are soaked in Jewish blood. Nobody else. I can't blame nobody else. And why they did this? It's anti-Semitism. I don't know. It's an old, painful story.
And it's been happening for centuries in that part of the
Yeah,
world.
I used to fight my friends. They used to call me sometimes Žid. Žid is the word Jew. I used to fight him off. As a matter of fact, I will tell you a story. One time what happened, he ran away. I was beating him up good. He ran away. And while he was running, he was calling, "Hey, Žid, you know." And it was on a Sunday. He went to the church. He sat next to his father. I went in the church. I sat next to him. I waited for him to go out. And then he told his father. His father says, "Martin, go home. I'll take care of him." But you see, I don't know. This is a story from day one. It's a story from day one. It's hard to explain for me. I don't like to talk religion, you know. But they're teaching anti-Semitism even today.
I was just thinking about your close friend and how he turned and how vicious. It wasn't as if it was
He
fair.
he was to me like a brother. We did not go. We were fighting. Played soccer together. He was jealous because I played soccer better than him. I was in school better than him. I liked a girl, a Polish girl, and he liked the same girl. She didn't like him. He was jealous. Later on, under the gun, he married her when the Germans there. She had to marry, otherwise he would kill her. There, I can explain what. There's no words for barbarism like this. No words. I can explain this. They turned like vicious barbarians. Like I told you the story about what you heard before, the man who became the chief police, he killed his wife and two children in the middle of town just to keep up because they were Jewish. And he loved them. It's hard to explain, hard to figure this out. Well, I asked my father, let's run away at night somewhere. He says, how can you run? You have your whole family here. We never expected such a thing. We never knew what concentration camps are. We did not know things. We had Jewish people coming from Poland, running away from the German border. They told us, but we did not believe it. What do you mean taking people, putting in a grave? A few months later, the same policeman who tried to burn me came to my house and he said, we are going to take you to a different town. They need workers. I knew he's going to take us outside and kill us. So before he took us to the town, the main town, in the market, in the marketplace, and there were 4 or 5 wagons, and I seen they bringing more of my friends, more people, men, women. They tie us up by the necks to the wagons, and our hands bound in the back. And they said, we're going to take you to a town called Baranowice, Baranowice, Baranowice. It's a big town. I happen to know the town very well. But we didn't believe it. We were walking, running after the wagon for almost the whole night. We came to the town. They took us to this town. There was a big ghetto in the town. Let me tell you what a ghetto is. A ghetto is, they picked the slum place from the town, mostly. 10, 20 streets, put barbed wire all around, and with a gate, have Ukrainians, Lithuanians, Polish, and White Russians, not Germans, all around the perimeter, with guns, machine guns, watching. Inside, there was enough room maybe for 10, 15,000 people. We were around 60, 70, 80, or 100,000 people. When they brought me in over there, I slept from the stoop, from the house, maybe the 20th already in the street. The conditions were very bad. They gave us food once in a while, every day, like one piece of bread, small piece of bread, and some soup. Soup from potato peels, nothing, just junk. But if you had a job outside, because many Poles, many Germans came, they need some workers on the farms, they need some workers in the house, cleaning. Sometimes you get a piece of bread outside. So I was hungry, and I was with a friend. His name was Bachrach, Bachrach. Yeah. He was a painter. And I was standing by the gate. Maybe somebody will come to ask us for work. So I get a piece of bread. I was hungry. A big German, a tall German, came with a Polish interpreter. The big German's name was Dr. Wichmann. Wichman, Wichmann. They were looking for painters. So my friend picked up his arm. He said, Martin, pick up your arm. I picked up my arm. And they took us out. So the doctor told in German, I understand, I speak Yiddish. It's a little like German. I understood what he told him. He says, take him home and show him what I have to do. Paint this house inside. And then you bring him back. And he says to him, every morning you pick him up and take him back. And the German left. So he says, follow us in Polish. So we walked in the street, and he walked on the sidewalk. We couldn't walk on the sidewalk. I remember he took us to a street. I happen to know the town very well because I went with my father many times there. I had uncles. He took us to a street called Wilenska, Wilenska, Wilenska. The number I don't remember. This was the doctor's house, a beautiful Jewish home. Talk about the doctor. On the way there, we had to walk, I would say, about 10, 15 minutes from the ghetto. Every 5 minutes, this Polish man, I forgot in this moment the name, I'll remind myself the name. He called me and come here, you come here. He had a rubber stick. He hit me in the head. I didn't see anymore. I think when I went to the house, I was confused already. Well, he showed us what to do, and my friend told him how much, he's a professional painter, how much paint he needs, and other many things to prepare. And he took us home. We went into together. No food, no nothing. The next day he came to pick us up in the morning. We wait for him. So when I came the first day, what I did, my friend went to look for the paint over there. I picked up the German's boots. He got high boots. And I polished. The German came out, Dr. Wichmann, very polite. Oh, wunderbar, very nice. Thank you very much. He went in and he got me a piece of bread and cheese. Oh, you don't know, my eyes went like this. And I held in my hand and the German left back in the house. The Polish man came over, took it away, put it on the floor, mashed it up with his foot. He says, you try to bend down, I shoot you. Anyway, we worked there for a couple of, I would say about a month. We did a good job. He didn't rush us. He had a little house behind his house, the doctor. So he came one day and he says, you see the little house? Your foot should never go close to this house. You go there, you're dead. We never went there. Other times, twice, he said to the Polish man, keep him here tonight to sleep because tomorrow they're going to kill Jews in the ghetto. Because this doctor in the brown uniform, not an SS, Sturm Division something, not SS, SD, I think. He was the one to sign in the office how many days and how many Jews to kill. So we slept over there. He says, their time will come later. Don't worry. Okay. One day we came to work and they all left. The doctor, his wife, and this Polish man. They went out. I wanted to see what's going on in their little house. I went to the little house, what I saw will stay with me for the rest of my life. I saw to the window. I went only to one window. I didn't go to the rest. It's enough for me. I saw a little boy sitting on a chair, higher chair. He was already not, it didn't look human already. Completely, he couldn't even move. And in the back, a mechanical hammer was going on the head, hitting on the head, like this. They were testing how long can they accept pain without food and water. that this was the doctor. The doctor had in his house a maid. In the garden, he had more houses. They were living Russian POWs that worked on the farm. Anyway, I was speaking to my friend in Yiddish. One day in the ghetto, by the fences, a Polish man came over, my father's friend. He was a brother of the one who butchered my father. He came over, he was a very dear friend. He says, if my brothers know what I'm doing to you now, they'll kill me. He came over, I said, Martin, you have no more family. They killed him yesterday. Everybody dead. And my brother took your father and your sister. I don't know what he's going to do with them. He's not going to save them. I found out later that he cut my father in 1,000 pieces. And my older sister was raped many times. The month of Av in the Jewish calendar is a very painful month for the Jewish people all over the world. Jeremiah and Isaiah, they wrote the Lamentations. They were witnesses to the first and the second temple destroyed in Jerusalem. Hitler in the Holocaust knew very well that the temple was destroyed in this month. So he ordered to destroy thousands of towns, little towns, villages. At the same time, my whole family got killed on this day. This was 2 days ago. So in the doctor's house, I speak to my friend, Bachrach. I say, I don't want to stay here no more. I got nobody. Let's run away. I know the way how to get out of town. I knew every way because I was driving with my father with a horse all the time. Every month, every 2 months, every week sometimes. This lady, till today, I think she was Jewish, and she was Jewish. They didn't know that she was Jewish. She was a Russian Jew. She understood what we were talking to run away. We came one day, and the doctor was not there. Nobody was there again. They used to go away many times. She came over to us. She says, I got 2 packages for you. It's food. You can use it. And if you'll be cold, I got 2 coats hanging over there. She spoke to us in Russian. And the doctor's wife likes you to go and fix something behind her bed before you. That's what she wants. So my friend says there's nothing wrong behind the bed, but let's go and see what it is. As we walk into the bedroom, there were 2 night tables. They were open, 2 guns, loaded guns lying there with ammunition. I said to him, she's telling us to go. I said, take the guns, put in your pocket, put on the coats, and don't say nothing, just let's go. Don't stop nobody in the street. As we start taking out the coats, she came over to me. And she says in Yiddish, gay, go. And she says, gay Gesundheit, God should bless you. Hurry. We walked out. And I knew how to go. We passed by German police, German soldiers. It's like God closed their eyes. He didn't see us. And we went. There was about 3-4 miles away, a small town. It's called Mush, M-U-S-H. I was there many times. This was the road to my hometown. So we came to this town, Mush, not in the town, but it's a village. We went in the fields. We were hiding, but it's still a little light. We were hiding in the fields. Sitting down. It got dark. We started walking. We walked about 10, 20 kilometers. I said, I'm going to go to my hometown. Then, because I knew a cousin of mine is hiding by a Catholic friend, and I knew exactly where. But then I said, wait a minute, I want to go and see my friend, Mr. Gladky, Gladka. Mr. Gladky was my grandfather's friend, Polish, a farmer. You say same farm, next farm to my grandfather. And I know them very well. They come to my house all the time. The husband, the wife, the daughter. And I came there, I knocked on the door. They opened up the door. Martin! They called me Motek. Motek, you are alive? I heard they kill you in Baranovich. I said, no, I'm alive. He says, come in. We are hiding, I think 16 or 17 people, most of them your cousins, in the kitchen under the floor. They digged a hole. They made I was the happiest man in the world. And they told me how my mother died, my father died, my sister died, how the people died, how they buried them all alive. They shoot it inside, whoever had a shot, they buried him alive. I was there, I was very happy. A couple of days later, we was always standing in the window, see what's going on there. The lady was sitting, his wife and all the ladies sitting by the table, knitting or doing something, and under the table was open the, what do you call it, you hide, what do you call this? A trapdoor, yeah. There was enough room for 5, 10 people. We were about 16, 17. Now we are 18 already, 19. But one day, about a couple of days later, we see 2 policemen coming on horses. So we went in over there. They walked in, I recognized the voices. This is the guy who tied me up on the bench, and another friend. They walked over to the lady, they said, we heard that you are hiding or helping Jews. She said, no, why should I do it? And they asked her 2, 3, 4 times. Then they took the rifle and broke her leg right over here. Broke. I don't think she screamed. Like God took away her pain. And they walked out. We had a doctor there with us, a young doctor. And he came out, he tried to do something, and they are coming back. They came back again, the same thing. We heard that you are saving Jews or something. He broke her same leg in another place. She screamed like hell. I told my friends, 2 of my cousins were military men. And there were a few military men. They had ammunition there too, rifles, guns. I said, let's get him and kill him when he came the second time. This lady was a very religious lady. She says, no killing in my house. She said, no killing, you wouldn't do it. We could get rid of them very easy. So we let him go. A couple of days, a day later, the next day, I said to myself, I went over to this Mr. Gladky, I said, I'm sorry, I can't stay here no more. I don't want to put your life in danger. It's a matter of fact, in Israel, I put her name on the righteous line behind the tree. Their name. So I walked away, me and my friend. I said goodbye to my cousins. They still stayed there, but later on they left. Everybody left. And I said, let's go. Where are we going? "Oh, I don't know. I said, maybe we should go to the Russian border. We didn't know where to go. So we were walking. Let me tell you, I don't believe how I did this. We were walking day and night. The moon, which show us how to walk, how to go. But she gave us that many times. Dogs, you know. We ate in the daytime only the corn and the wheat from the in the fields. Water, my God, we drink our own water, you know. We urinate and we drink the water. One day, we smelled, and this was going on for weeks. That's why I said, I don't understand this. But I didn't know where I was, and hungry. We smelled something like meat, something. We followed, and we found in the field somewhere. We had to be careful because in the daytime the farmers were in the fields, and they kill you with guns. We found a horse dead, who knows how many months, smelled already. So we took the pieces, and I don't remember how we got, I think my friend had, I didn't smoke, he smoked. He had like matches, we didn't smoke, but he had matches. We made a fire, put on the fire the meat, and we ate the meat. And it tastes like filet mignon today. I'm sorry to say this. Anyway, we were walking around many times. But I would say about 2 months. One day, we were so tired, we lay down to sleep. And they caught us, some police. We were close to a labor camp. I didn't know this. I knew the labor camp. My friends were there. Called Kodlycheva, Kodlyczewa. Kodlycheva. I can't describe you Kodlycheva. This is a labor camp. They have factories for ammunition. They made ammunition for the Germans. They made watches for the Germans. They made from the forecoats. They made boots and warm coats for the Germans on the Russian front, for the Jewish forecoats, you know. And we lived in a barn full with water up to here. I met my friends over there. They were already there before. They were already there for a couple of months. They were beaten up, and they told us what they did with others was terrible. Some of my friends over there said, Martin, you're a farmer, you're a strong guy. You are not strong at all. You are stronger than them. Were hungry a little, they didn't need too much food. We lived in water. Most of my friends, they were rotten between the horses, the cows, everything in the water. They did everything. We cleaned everything. They told me they are they were Russian prisoners of war and Jewish. The Jews were digging a tunnel to a forest about 30, 40 feet away from the barn. There are woods over there. Not so big, but it's a forest. So they told me, Martin, you'll help us dig. Where do you put the earth? You had enough dig just to go through like this at all four, you know. Not big tunnel. We put the tunnel in the water in the barn, and the water on top. This was the best thing in the world. After a few weeks, I worked in a factory where they made clothes. Then I worked in a factory for ammunition, bullets. I don't know what I did over there. They put me to do something there. and we decided to go out. The Russian prisoners of war knew it because we asked him to help us and we'll go out together. They didn't want to do it. So they gave out to the Germans. Not the Germans, to the Polish people, the farmers there, the police. They were Polish police and Belarus police. But we decided tonight to go out. I was one of the first to go out. And as I went out, I got a bullet right here. This is a German Dum-Dum bullet. But the bullet came from far away. My doctor told me. Because otherwise, it would go through me. This is my bullet in my hand. I have, even today, I have only 30% or 20% strength from this arm. They were going to take my arm off, cut off. But a doctor, this also from my hometown, another doctor was there, and he tied it up, I remember, and he had like a plier or something, and they pulled out like this. They cut him over here, and they pulled out. Without anesthesia, without nothing. I think they gave me some vodka or some agon, because I don't know what it is. But I felt all the pain. And we ran for more than 2 or 3 weeks. I didn't know where I was. I was running in the fields again, me and my friend, nobody else. I was told that most of the people got shot. Not many survived, because I have never seen anyone from there. They were torturing people so badly, hanging people, beating people to death without mercy, just bloodthirsty people. So we ran away. As we ran away for a couple of weeks, we went to a farm somewhere. We didn't hear no dogs on the farm, so we went over there. And it looks like we sat down somewhere, we fell asleep. In the morning, usually we were hiding. In the morning, a woman is standing next to us. She says, "Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry." She knew we are Jews. A Polish woman, Polish Catholic woman. She told us. She says, "Don't worry, come, I'll make you food, I'll make you eat, wash up." I don't know what she did with us. Our clothes was already torn, you know. She gave us clothes. She was a widow. She had a farm, but the farmers around there. So we worked on a farm, not outside too much, inside most of the time, doing certain things. We were there a couple of weeks. We came back to our strengths. And we were very happy. She knew, we told her the whole story. We are Jews, you know what happened. She says, "I know." She said, "But I have very bad neighbors." Why? For many reasons. First of all, they would kill Jews. And second of all, she was a lady alone. They want to take away our farm. So we made everything. We worked over there. One day, she says, "Hide, the neighbor's coming." The neighbor came from there, and he said to her, "Who are the people working for you here?" They watch. She said, "Oh, this is one of my family from somewhere, you know." But she told him something, but they didn't believe it. They were watching more and more. So at 2 days later, at night, almost on all four, we went away. They shouldn't see it, and we disappeared. We went back in the woods. I don't know what they did to her. I have no idea. They could kill her. What makes the difference? They were terrible. But we had already other clothes. We already fed. So it took a week or 2 weeks till we got very weak again. No water, no food. And we ate corn, whatever. We were walking and walking. We did not know where we were. The only thing I knew is when the sun comes up and the sun goes down. We were hiding. A few days after we left this lady, farmers from around saw us walking and they started shooting. So my friend ran away one way, I went the other way. I have never seen my friend again. I'm sure they killed him. I looked all over. I was in camps, in Italy, all over in Germany. I couldn't find him. I asked people, he was dead. So I was alone. And I walk and I walk and I walk day and night. Sometimes I sleep for 2 days. I don't remember. I wanted to die. I'm too tired. I hear a train. So I think I'm going to go to the train. Maybe I'll find a piece of bread over there in the garbage. So we are going to the sound where the train is. I was so tired that I did not see and I did not hear a German standing right on me almost. And he says, "Why did you run away from the train? Go back to the train." I was the happiest man. At least I go to the train. I can sit down over there and I'll die over there. I didn't want to live no more. So I went to the train, and this was a train coming with Polish and Hungarian Jews. Polish and Hungarian Jews. They pushed me in the train. Yeah, before they pushed me in, they cleaned up the train for many dead babies, dead women, old men. They just throw them on the sidewalk and they pushed me in back there. I remember like now a Hungarian man, very well dressed. They didn't know where they're going. They gave me a piece of bread. And I sat down. I almost passed out. I was asleep. After they cleaned up, we had a place where to sit down because they were standing like sardines. They took out maybe half of the train. And we were going and going and going for 2-3 days by train until we came to a concentration camp called Mauthausen in Austria. In Austria, Mauthausen.
Martin, spell that for us, would you?
Mauthausen. Mauthausen. I'll give it later too. I didn't know what a concentration camp is. But when I came in, they opened up the doors. I saw all the Germans. I saw all the many skeletons already. Skeletons walking around there. I didn't believe what I see. And we stepped down. And if you ever get a chance, look on this art piece, Remember Us. I made this art piece many years later. I will tell you the story a little later. Many years later, because this represents my first minutes in the concentration camp. And let me tell you this story. I never spoke about it. It was in my heart. I had an art show after the war, after I lived when I was in the United States in a university. And the professor came over to me. She says, Mr. Small, why did you make this art piece? I say, it's the same like any other. No. She said, something, this art piece is touching me. The professor. You see crying faces there, 6 million. I said, well, I'm going to tell you. You just asked me. Nobody ever asked me this, but you asked me for the first time. It is already 25 years after the Holocaust. I never told this. My wife don't know this story. When I came off from the train in Mauthausen the first day, they were throwing out dead children. And the mothers were standing there. They took the woman and the older man right to the gas chambers. So they threw out a little baby. They just threw it like garbage. The woman recognized her baby. So she ran to the baby. A German standing next to me killed the mother. There was a little girl, maybe 3, 4 years old. Her mother, who knows where was, maybe in the gas chambers already. There were thousands of people there. And she's running around, Mommy, 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 right next to me and next to the German. I was going right and I was going left, you know. The German said right and left. I went to leave and they went to the gas chambers. This little girl, she disturbed him very much. He was annoyed. He says, come here, you want to see your mommy? She was Hungarian, but the word mommy is international. She came over to him, Mommy, Mommy. He said, you see the chimney? Your mother will come out any minute. And took the gun and killed the baby. This stayed for me for years. I made this art piece. And Washington, D.C. want to have this art piece right now. I didn't want to give it to them all these years. But now I'm going to give it to them. How can I define to you a concentration camp? It's difficult to define. They took us in barracks. I met some people there, skeletons already. We had no names. I have no number. Mauthausen, they had numbers. Mauthausen was built in 1938. They had numbers. But in the last few years, they did not give numbers not to know the world how many they killed. They had on paper, but not over here. So anyway, Mauthausen had the deadly steps, if you know what it is, the quarry. 186 steps. We as skeletons had to carry, just for fun, for nothing else, heavy loads of 50, 40 loads of granite, stones, rock, up the deadly steps. And then if we don't like you, he pushed you down, you died right in the quarry. Used to go 2 times a day. The steps were full with blood. These are called these deadly steps. The gas chambers, as you know what gas chambers are. As a matter of fact, I watched one time. There was a little girl left. They couldn't close the door. The little girl, they took the baby and they just threw it on top of everybody and locked the door. And you hear the screams like crazy. They open up later, they're all dead. I worked by the gas chambers. I also worked, there was, I don't remember what they made. I think they made some also ammunition. I think, if I remember correctly, we were skeletons. This camp was only to die in starvation. You had to do sometimes cleaning over there. I don't know what we did. But I also worked by the gas chambers. It was terrible what they did over there. This camp was just to people to die a bad death. They didn't want us to die. They want us to live but suffer. If in many camps, if you read sometimes in newspapers, in archives, in many camps like Auschwitz, Dachau, if they had to punish inmates, which was also a camp, a deadly camp, they sent them to Mauthausen. Mauthausen had many sub-camps. What is a sub-camp? A sub-camp was a place where the Germans tried to figure out, like the house by the doctor in the ghetto, how much can a person survive? What kind of methods can we do in matter to punish the person before he dies? I worked in the gas chambers, and I worked also, like I said, in the ovens, by the ovens. I had to put my own friends sometimes from my barrack to the ovens. Sometimes the legs still moving. I tried to go into the ovens myself many times because death was a blessing. But something got hold of me, I don't know why. I could not go in. So they were all mostly skeleton. Each one of us, Simon Wiesenthal, if you heard about Simon Wiesenthal, he was the biggest Nazi hunter. He was at many camps. I met many people in the camps. I'll tell you later a story. I met somebody in Denver who was with me in the camps. And he was with me with the same thing when I told you the story about the baby. Because he spoke on a reunion and he told the same story. So anyway, in the camp, at night, in the barracks, they used to call me the rabbi because we prayed to God. I remember the prayers by heart in Hebrew. Why we prayed, I don't know, but we prayed. We were skeletons, dead skeletons. And this is all in the spring of 1945, before the war was over. They killed people in trenches. They put up in trenches skeletons all over Mauthausen. All over Mauthausen. Because when the American soldiers came in later, they couldn't believe what they see. They couldn't believe what they see. So one day, I was so weak. I was 70 pounds. And they heard that the Americans are coming. And the Germans start killing out and killing out and killing out more as many as possible. So they put me in the barrack. I could not walk. I could not talk. I could not hear. I could not almost not see. So they left me to die among the dead. Before I go any further, I would like to tell you some other stories. One Italian man, a young man I knew him. I saw him many times from a different barrack. Very nice man. He used to sing Italian songs, even a skeleton. And he tried to escape. Maybe he was running out of the barrack, I don't know. They call it escape. You know, they use any way things to kill. So they caught him. And who caught him? Not a German. there was one Polish collaborator. I forgot his name. I knew it. He used to walk in the afternoon, tired from beating people to death. What he did to this Italian boy, he cut him in 1,000 pieces. He beat him, he hanged him up with the legs up and cut him between the legs and cut him, beat him till he died. From his mouth, all the guts came up with blood. We had to watch this. A second time, I want to tell you something about the Jehovah's Witness. I didn't know that time what the Jehovah's Witness is. But they had the purple triangles. They had them under church, many of them. They were all kind, not only Jews, everybody was there. American POWs, English POWs, from all over. They killed them over there. So they took us for a walk, a few miles, to a sub camp called Guzin, Gusin, Guzin. Guzin had a firing squad, firing place over there. There were 2 machine guns, the Germans, and they brought in 25 or 30, I don't remember, with the triangles. And they called them the German, the top man over there. You go stand over there, face here, nothing on the eyes, just look at me. And tell me, would you like to go? Would you like to help the German Reich, the Führer, Hitler, to kill Jews and others? He says, no. Machine guns. Right away. Fell down in blood. The next one. No. He fell on top of him. Let me tell you. 25 or 30 people, not one said yes. And they were dying on the blood of their brothers, friends. To me, to this day, I can't believe it. Would I do something like this? I don't know. I can't believe this.
One of the other questions that I had is you had mentioned that the people you were in the camp with called you the rabbi because of the prayers. How do you keep faith during something like that? How do you maintain that?
I have high education in Judaism. I went to the yeshivas. There's a very interesting prayer. First of all, we were skeletons. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't see nothing. We didn't see God. We didn't see nothing. We didn't know what belief is. The piece of bread or a little water. Sometimes we were talking among us. And I or somebody else used to tell him a story. Do you remember the holiday of Hanukkah? How your mother used to make pancakes, latkes, things like this? We forgot our hunger. Just by talking. We went to sleep. We didn't know when we sleep, we just lay down on the porch. I said, let's pray. Let's pray to God. A man who's drowning will grab a straw. He knows it's not going to help him. We were praying. I don't know why we prayed. We prayed to God because this was our life. We believed in God. And thank God, God didn't make me forget. There's a certain prayer in Judaism. It's called, you have the, you know what the mezuzah is? Okay. I make mezuzahs. You put in the mezuzah a certain prayer, which is called Shema Yisrael, Hear, O Israel, God is one, God is all. For many years after the Holocaust, I never said this prayer. You know why? It's very interesting. Because when my mother died, she was buried alive. She was covered with the last scream, last, what do you call it, last breath, screaming Shema Israel, you know. Most of the Jews died. This is a prayer they died with this. So I could not say this prayer. Whenever somebody says, oh, I cried, I kept quiet. But as a believer in God, and this is one of the greatest words in Judaism. I ask God, I say, God, help me say this prayer. Help me tell you that you are my God. Many times God answered my question, like I told you with the woman and everything. One time at night, everything happens in my dreams. I wake up and I see it. I see something. I see my mother screaming this, as she says, Shema Israel. But she was already up till here. She didn't breathe no more. She was already in God's hands. And she says, she didn't say Shema Israel. She says, Martin, I am in God's hands. I see God. Don't forget, God is one and just your God. Why he did this, there's no answer, no question. But she told me she's in God's hands. And since then I'm saying it and I feel very good. So anyway, when the Americans came, I don't remember liberation at all. I know one thing. I found myself in a hospital, in a correction, what do you call this, in a hospital. They were teaching me how to walk, how to talk, mama, mama, how to hear, I don't know. But most important, how to see. The most important, I had to see it exactly what they want me to see. The longest thing of recuperating was the seeing. So I saw very well already, a few months.
You really don't remember the liberation?
No.
When you began to come back to consciousness and you found you were in a hospital, what were the feelings?
The first, I don't remember the first moment. I don't remember. If I start walking, talking, seeing, when they were teaching me, I didn't know nothing. I just, thank God I'm alive. Left, is it, I said, is it life? Left, I lost the whole world, my world. But after a little while, I survived. I see, I asked question, why did I survive? I don't know. Why did I survive? Why me? Why the other people over there who survived? They lost. We were talking to each other. We healed each other's wounds by talking to each other. Each one tells his story. You know, it's hard to describe. There's no answer for these things. But I felt different. I felt, why me? Why did God let me? Why did he kill my mother and father? You know, there's no answer to this. What did the little children do? Babies. I seen myself alive. And I can go around any place I want there. But no more concentration camps. They are dead. There's something, I don't know how to explain this. And then I heard them, they were talking about Israel. Right there, this is 1945. And they will start bringing people to Israel. We knew about this. And I used to go out. They let me out to go out. We came to Salzburg. They gave us a house in Salzburg, Austria. It's a big city and a big railroad station. From Salzburg, you can take the train to go all over Europe. I used to stay by the station many times because I wanted to get out of there. I had nothing to take with me. Whatever I got in my pocket, I don't know, maybe a piece of junk, that's it. If you remember, I told you the story that the woman broken the legs twice. I asked God, and this is so help me God, through the whole Holocaust. I said, God, would I do what this woman did? And it bothered me. But God answered my question. When I was in Salzburg, standing by the train, it was a train, tanks on the train, Russian tanks, a Russian officer and more soldiers, and many, many Italian POWs going back to Italy from the Russian front because they were with the Germans. I was standing there one day and 3 women approached, came over to me. I don't know from where. They had dirt on their faces with covered their heads. And the woman came over to me and says, excuse me, are you from the concentration camp? Because I was still skinny. You could know what I'm. I say, yes. She says to me, so you wouldn't talk to me. So I answered her in German. I spoke German to her a little. I said, why shouldn't I talk to you? You came to me. I don't know who you are. She took out a pouch from her pocket. You know the pouch with the string? It's a big pouch. She said, I want to give this to you. I said, I don't need this. You can give this to me. I don't know what it is. I don't want nothing. A piece of bread is better than anything in the world. She says, this is worth millions. Gold, silver, diamonds. My husband gave me. He was the head, one of the heads of Mauthausen concentration camp. The Americans killed him. And now they're looking for us. I don't know. She said, I'm sorry, I said, I will not take this. I don't need it, please. And I was shivering. Here's a wife from the man who maybe he's the one who broke my back, who killed in front of me many thousands of people. I said to her, I know, I'm sorry, I can't take this. She says, I want you to do me a favor. Me, my mother, and my daughter. She was the wife, the mother, and the daughter from this man. I want you to take my daughter, save my daughter. We will go back home, they'll kill us anyway. Please take my daughter. When she told me this, believe you me, I didn't see her. I didn't see her daughter. And I didn't see her mother. I saw my mother and my 2 sisters. I knew they were dead. I was told. I didn't see it. I was told. And I'm talking to my mother and my sister. Then I turned around to these ladies. Something God was talking to me. I said, do you have any liquor in the house? She looks at me like I'm crazy. She said, what for you want liquor? I said, go ahead and bring some liquor. I'll wait for you. They left, and I was standing and talking to my mother. I remember like now, my sisters. I don't know what I was talking. They came back in 20 minutes, half hour. I did not move 1 inch. God kept me in this place. They came back with, I think, 2 bottles of something. I said, follow me. I went to the Russian officer. I spoke fluently Russian. I said to him, where's your train going? He looks at me like crazy. He said, I'm not going to tell you. Who are you? I said, I got something for you. And I show him the liquor. Believe me, when he saw the liquor, his eyes went like this. He said, what do you want me to do? I said to him, you see these ladies? This is my mother. This is my grandmother. And this is my sister. They just came out from the concentration camp. Take them away, wherever you go. He says, come, follow me. And he took him away. I don't know where he put him. I don't know. In 5-10 minutes, the train left. And I'm standing there, and I said to myself, what did I do here? I saved the biggest killer in the world, his family. These are the guys who killed my family. But then all of a sudden I said, oh God, thank you, I could do it too. Till today, I'm very happy. I want to go back to the camp for 1 minute. In the camp, even her husband, one of the top men, they used to put us up roll calls at night, morning, night, snow, anything. In the towns, we stayed skeletons standing in the cold, hot, everything, freezing to death. Many died right there. And if you bend down to pick up his rag on the shoe, they kill you. The Germans came out with dogs. Her husband too. This is one of the Germans. And they said, you, step out. And they put the dogs on these skeletons. There was bones, nothing there. But I and all of us, we were jealous on the dogs because they got something in the mouth. Hard to say this. A few weeks later, I'm going back to Salzburg now, to the train. And I thank God all the time, but He made me save these people. Why, I don't know. A few weeks later, the train over there, and I hear music. So I go over there to the train, and a young guy comes out, he talks to me in a language, I don't understand what he's talking. I said, I don't understand, I said. He said, you speak German, you speak Russian? I said, yeah. They came from the Russian front, the soldiers. He says, you like music? I said, yeah, I used to play guitar, I said. You want to go to Italy? I told him I was from the concentration camp. He says, you want to go to Italy? I said, sure. Come in, don't let nobody see you. And there were American soldiers, Russian soldiers. The Russian soldiers were looking for the POWs. Their POWs will run away. He says, go under the bed. So I lay down under the bed. I didn't know what I'm doing, so I lay down. In a few minutes, I hear, I think Americans or who came over there. Nobody here, you know, like in Russian or Italian, whatever. No, nobody here. They closed the thing. I don't think they closed the doors, and the train went away. I landed in 1 or 2 days in Modena, Italy. This young fellow who took me on the train, He was a high officer in the Italian tanks. And Modena, they had a tank academy. So he lived over there. He had to stay there about 6, 8 months. I stayed with them over there. And I knew all about the tanks. They were teaching about the English Matilda tanks. I knew about the Russian tanks, but I didn't know about the English tanks. And I went there, and in Italy. Later on, he says, I'm going to Rome, my family. I went with him to his family. I stayed with him in Rome, in Muzio Clementi's 27, I'll never forget. His name was, I think, Gianni Onofri, something, Gianni. Like Gianni Onofri. His parents, they were selling carbon, carbon for the oven, for the heating the things, the houses. He had a sister. She was in love with me. She wanted to go to America. But I didn't want to go to America. I stayed with them there a few months. Then I find out that they have a DP camp, displaced person camp in Rome, called Cinecittà, Cinecitta. Cinecittà means in English the city of movies. That's where they make all the movies, like Hollywood. We had a camp over there. There were many, many Holocaust survivors from all over. In our camp in Italy, in Cinecittà, there was a family, a Polish family, and he said he was in a concentration camp. Yeah, he was in a concentration camp, but he was a Nazi. He spoke Jewish very well. He was raised in Ukraine or where, among Jews. He spoke Jewish very well. So he wanted to hide among the Jews. So they got him and the police took him away. We had many Jewish people over there. And I was there after 6 months. They elected me as secretary of the Jewish committee all over Italy for 2.5 years. And I traveled to many camps. So while in Rome, there was a Via Nazionale, it's a main street. There was a little coffee shop. I think it was opened by Italian Jews or something like this. And on the walls were all papers written down. I'm looking for my uncle, he's born in Poland, one is born in Germany. So I always went to look for something. Yeah, you never know. Maybe I'll find somebody. One day, I'm standing over there. Somebody takes me around, and I hear a woman's voice in German. You remember me? I turn around, I see a beautiful woman, very well dressed. She had, I remember, a fox. The old times, they used to have foxes over the shoulders. A fox, like a piece of fur, like from a fox. Very beautiful. I said, no, I don't know you. I don't remember you. She said, do you remember in Salzburg, I was me and my mother. I said, oh my God, don't tell me. She says, I'm coming here more than a year, every single day, just to look for you. You saved our lives. A Jew whom my husband killed Jews, and you saved us. He says, it's unbelievable. I asked you to save me. I went to her house, and thank you for not taking the money. Her daughter was already going to school, beautiful girl. I was in her house twice. She brought some vodka. We had vodka, ham, all kind of food. After the second time, I said, God, thank you very much. That's enough. I don't want no more. I said goodbye to them. I never saw them again. During the Holocaust, they say there were 6 million, I think maybe a little more than 6 million. But in the Holocaust, I knew from many, I had a friend of mine who was a great man in the Second World War. In the Second World War, Hitler died through his hands, at least 60, 70 million people. He killed almost 20 million Germans.
I would think that's something that very few people in America can relate to. Is just the kind of environment that would be. We have no reference to it here.
I know. Well, you had, for example, the Civil War. I know very well, brother against brother, but this was something else. This is on a battlefield. On a battlefield. But if you just take people from the homes, put them in ovens, you burn them alive, you put babies. I never told, I didn't tell this story before. I forgot. I watched a German and Paul take a baby of a few weeks or few months old, holding under the arms and lowering down with the legs first in boiling oil. I still hear the screams, and then throw the baby in the oil. You got to be barbarian. The same man, I want to ask you a question. The same man gets up in the morning, says hello to his wife, kisses hello, eats breakfast, and says to the children, I'll see you later, be good in school, listen to your mama, and goes to the concentration camp and kills people. Then comes home back, how was your day, darling? He kills children, and he kisses his children. There's no word for this barbarism, no word. That's why I like to talk to the world. This should never happen again. And you still got today people say this never happened. I don't know. It's hard to describe. How did he train the Hitler Jugend? You know what Hitler Jugend is? How did he train the Hitler Jugend, the young people, the kids? I'll tell you. He used to take the kids from the families, pay money to the family, we're going to send him to a school for the Führer, Hitler school. They took him to schools. They gave rooms for one or two kids together. And they teach him how to go out and bayonet. This is a Jew, kill this is a Jew, you know, like this. Kids, for them it's a play. But if you find a friend, you will never do it, right? Later on, they give each child, do you like a dog? Do you like a cat? Or what do you like, a parakeet? So they give him a baby dog, a baby cat. And they was raising the cat and the dog. It became his best friend. When the dog was about 8, 10 months old, not the same Nazis, different Nazis, SS, came in there and they took away the animals from the children and they killed in front of them. You know about a child killing a baby, something like this. They were crazy. They were sick. A day later, the regular SS came. He said, who did this? Oh, we'll find them. They gave him new dogs and new cats. This was going on 2, 3 times until the kids didn't know nothing else, only to kill. And they became the biggest killers. Can you imagine this? That's how they made him kill us. In the end, they made him kill their own animals. Make believe that it's a Jew or whatever. They killed him, and that's not a problem. They would kill their own father or mother. It's hard to describe this.
were you ever able to find out later on what happened to the Germans, the Nazis that worked at Mauthausen? What happened to them? Were they killed by the Russians? Were they killed by? Were they? Did they escape? Did you find out anything afterwards?
Yeah, many of them they got him. Many they found. You have to understand something else. There are Nazis today all over the world. And the German government today are sending checks to them for fighting for their country. They have a great organization. Their own, you know. Many ran away and they disappeared among the civilians. You know, many ran away to many countries, many ran to civilians. They were helped by the Germans, even today. You know who's getting it? Poles who worked for them, Ukrainians, Germans, who worked for the Nazis. And they live in Poland and Argentina. They're getting checks every month. People don't know this. It goes to the banks. This is the biggest secret in the world. Can you imagine this? They're getting paid because they were fighting for the fatherland. Nuts. I don't get money from Germany, and I'm glad I don't get money from Germany. They didn't want to give it to me because one day I made an application. I want you to listen to this. I got proof. I got a letter. And I told him that I was in Kotlecheva camp. I ran away. I was hiding here and there. Then I went to Mauthausen. Then I was liberated. I got a letter from them. I owed them 117,000 marks. Because when I ran away from a labor camp, I lived illegally according to their thing over there. I got a letter. How do you answer this? So I wrote him a very nasty letter to a lawyer there. I got back. I said, I don't believe you German people who suffered so much from Hitler yourself, and you still obey the Nazi law? It's a Nazi law. They tell me, no, you don't know us no more. Can you imagine getting a letter? I owe him 170 or 17,000, I don't remember, for living illegally. I got a letter to prove. And this is today. Not today. How many years? But 25, 30, 40 years. 30 years back. While in Italy, I got connected with the Jewish brigade in the English army. You know what I'm talking? The English army, there was a Jewish brigade in the English army. They were fighting with the English. I got connected with them, and they asked me, he said, Martin, you have a lot of friends in Italy, Italian friends. I had a very big friend who had the biggest bakery in Rome. It's called Mosca, just like Moscow, Russian city, Moscow. Father and 3 or 4 sons. The youngest son was my friend. We played soccer together. I played in Italy with Lazio. You know Lazio? Soccer. Professional for 2 years. I was one of the best players. Center and right wing. I never got a penny. Pizza, yeah. Today they're getting millions. Oh, if I would be today, yeah, I'll get millions. So anyway, they told me one day, and in this bakery, let me explain you something. They bake the bread and whatever else there, you know. After they finish baking, the reparto celere is the high police of Rome, not polizia, but reparto celere. They used to come with 2 or 3 truckloads with sheets of peeled potatoes, put in the ovens and bake him and take him back to the police station, to the stations, in Rome. I told my friend, he knew I'm Jewish. I said, in Israel, we need some ammunition. This was 1947, 48. And I was in Italy from 1945 to 1950. I came January 26, 1950, on the American transport General McRae to New York. So he said to me, what kind of ammunition you need? I said, I have no idea. I'm going to bring somebody to talk to you. I got the people. They got together. I said, I don't want to be there. They discussed something. My friend says to me, Martin, I want you to come this day. They're going to pick up some ammunition. The police came from the police, and the money came from American Jewish people, millions of dollars. They came 3 truckloads with ammunition. They drove in. It's a big place in the back with big, doors, metal doors, like the old estates. And my men were waiting already there. And they had also 3 trucks. The 3 trucks were American trucks. If you remember, long numbers on American trucks, from what company you are and everything. They exchanged the ammunition. They gave me the money 2, 3 times. We took the money to boats in Anzio. Anzio, you heard about Anzio, Battle of Anzio. From there we got small boats, few boats. We put ammunition. Also 100, 200, 150 illegal immigrants to Israel, Holocaust survivors. We took him there many times. And I went to Cyprus once or twice. In Cyprus, they used to exchange boats and take him to Israel. The last time I went to Cyprus, who was there? Ben-Gurion, before it became the state of Israel. He was there. And I met him. I knew Menachem Begin later very well. And then I said, when everything was done, I said, we used to call Ben-Gurion the old man. Okay, old man, Zakein in Hebrew. Bye. He said, where are you going? I said, no, I'm going back to Italy. No, you come with me to Israel. I said, you'll fight over there. I wind up in 1948, the liberation of Israel, in the war of liberation. I was there for a couple of months. Fighting in Kibbutz Negba and Yad Mordechai. Me and a couple of guys, we took the first 3 tanks from the Egyptian army. We chased them back. And we put the first 3 tanks. And in Italy, I met an American soldier, Mr. Rosen. I never forget. He said, from where are you? He says, I am from the Bronx, New York. I said, yeah, I have an aunt in New York. He said, in New York they have 10 million ants over there. I gave him the name. He said, you know where she lives? I had a good handwriting back home. My mother sent to her sister, who was in America, the whole family, coming back from the 1800s. My uncle, great-uncle, my mother's great-grandparents, they were here in New York. So she used to send letters. I wrote the address. I remember by heart. I said to him, she lives. He said, I live a few blocks away from there. He took out $45 from his pocket and said, here, I'm going to America. I can't take you. I would take you, but I can't take you. And a few weeks later, I got a letter from my aunt. She was the happiest woman in the world. I want to bring you to America. She sent me papers. She had to put $50,000 in the bank for me to come to this country, because I shouldn't fall on the government's help, you know. But I came here, I got a job right away. I didn't know I have family here, cousins, all kind.
There's something else here too, and that's that what you and so many millions went through. When you came here and you met your aunt and the relatives, could they comprehend any of what you went through?
No. I told my aunt that I was wounded in the arm. I think I wrote on a letter. And the people said to her, where are you going to bring this refugee? You're working hard over here. She worked in the government center. She said, no, this is my sister's son, the only one left. She sent me a letter, tell me, I want to see if you got your arm. Maybe you have no arm. I went on a tree. I hanged myself on the legs with the arms done, like this. She said, I got two arms.
Coming to this country, what was it like to see just such a totally different society and the opportunity?
When General McRae, the boat, which I was on the boat, they said to us, it was early in the morning, I'll never forget. We are getting close, we didn't sleep all night. We had a big storm before we came to New York. We reached New York, they said, we're getting closer to New York. We were shivering. I can't describe you what was the word America. The word America is like people going to the Garden of Eden. We could not, I can't describe you what was for us the word America. And here we are from the Holocaust, coming to America. When I left Italy, I went to Bremenhaven, Germany, and took the boat. They took us on the boat. It was an embarkation center. I had my aunt over here. I didn't know I have mother family. So I wanted to bring you a present. You will not believe it. I bought a dozen oranges. I think they don't have in America oranges. In 10 days, when I took out the oranges, they were like peanuts. Dry, dead peanuts. When I got off the boat, I fell on the floor. I cried. We were approaching, and it was foggy. And all of a sudden, the Statue of Liberty. I can't describe it. What went to our mind, not mine, everybody's mind. So we came down, I fell on the floor in front of my aunt and another cousin over there I never saw before. They couldn't pick me up, I kissed the ground, crying. Not me, all of us. America is like the Garden of Eden, like a different world. It is a different world. Then in a car, later, I got up, I kissed him. She introduced me to another cousin, my aunt. I knew my aunt very well. I knew her as a child. She died in this country, in my house. And As I was driving to their homes, I see the vegetable stores with the millions of oranges. I figured they haven't got nothing here. Oh my God. It's hard to describe. How to describe. It's a matter of fact, when I got my first job, I got a job, yeah, my cousins took me to a job somewhere, shipping department. Oh, you want to hear a joke? They took me, I got a job for you, Martin, in the shipping department. So they took me to Fifth Avenue in an office, and in the back, the whole building was, they worked over there. So they all get undressed, not me. I don't get undressed. I say, Martin, how come you don't get undressed? Don't you want to work? I say, yeah, I want to work. Where's the ship? Yeah, shipping department, got in a ship, right? That's a greenhorn to you, right? That's my life. I'm telling the truth. I got my first job. First I got my cousins, then I got a job in a place. I don't know if you remember, Age and Age Butler stores. They had 46,000 stores. My cousin was the manager. He got me a job over there in the shipping department also. I went to work and I made $17, the first check I got. This was 1952 or something like this. I took the check and I worked with 8, 10 people there. I took the check, I cashed, I went out and got a bottle of vodka and sandwiches for everybody and cake. My cousin said to me, "You're crazy." I said, "You don't understand what it means getting your first check in a free country." Later on, he says, "I understand you." They couldn't comprehend this. To me, I got a job, the first check. So I bought everybody make a party, the whole check. When I came home, my aunt, she says, "You did a good job." That's good. So they had a good time. They had a good time. It's hard to describe. This country opened the doors. They opened their hearts to me. They took me in. I love this country more than anybody in the world. And I always, you see, I came here, my family, they were Democrats, so I'm a Democrat, but I will vote for the man what I like. Period.
What is it about this country that you
I like?
find so appealing?
One word. Freedom. Freedom and justice. And one day my cousin said to me, "Martin, I got a date for you, a blind date with a girl in the NYU, New York, in the university." So anyway, I told my aunt, "I'm not going to the date. I don't want to meet a blind girl." I didn't know what a blind date is. Made the story short, I said, "I'm going." Okay. On the way to our date, I had a friend of mine, a Holocaust survivor, his wife and a daughter, a little girl, little baby, from Italy, whom I knew there. They lived in New York, in Washington Heights. It's on the way from the Bronx going there to the NYU. On the way in University Avenue, I remember like now, I said, "Sonny, Bernie, let me out." He said, "Why? You're going to the date?" I said, "No, I want to see my friend." He said, "The girl is waiting for you from Brooklyn. She speaks Jewish." I didn't speak English that time. I was fighting with him. He says, "Get out." He didn't speak to me for a few months. I went out to my friend's house, and there were 3 girls there. My wife, her sister, and another girl. I'll make the story very short. My wife was waiting for the other girl or friend to go out. So my friend said, while you are waiting, let's play cards. So he took at the table and we played cards. I knew how to play, but I didn't like to play. But I said, okay. He says, I will play with her, my wife, and you play with her sister. I was in the house maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes. I said to him, no, 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 no. You play with her sister. I'm going to play with her because she'll be my partner for the rest of my life. 56 years. Thank God. The greatest thing in the world, people ask me, how will you, so